Hello everybody, I thought I'd give you a quick tour of my morning routine before I go to the allotment, to come out here into the greenhouse and excuse all the rustling. I open these propagators up just to let a bit more light in, because the light's got to get through that bubble wrap otherwise. So I can see already that all my plants are all right. It was cold last night, not down into frost territory. I am in North England and I know the Scots have had it fairly bad. I spoke to Eli from the kitchen garden with Eli and Kate this morning, and she's had snow and hail, bless her. So she'd have to have a week of glorious weather. Excuse me. So these are the seeds I sowed the other day, and these are now coming through. So all I do in the morning is I come in, and if it's been glorious weather like it has been for most of us for about a week, first thing I do is I just open this light a little bit before I go to the allotments, and I'll leave the door open an inch, and that will just allow a throughput of air and stop mould, and just gives them some life and vitality, keeps the air fresh in here. And also during the heat of a sunny day, it can actually boil in here and the plants can bake. They can get far too hot, so just keeping that airflow around will keep things cool. But it's cool today, I'm not bothered with that. I'll keep that one closed. I'll bring it in so you can see these plants here. Excuse me. Now these are the ones I sowed just 3 days ago, and I was talking about the right temperature at the right amount of time, and you can see here these cosmos are flying up 3 days ago. Are flying up, actually bursting the compost up here, and this one here, this cosmos, you can see that this is now mounded because it's bursting forth. So I would expect later today for this to be a little forest. Over here we've got zinnias. These are popping through. Can't remember what I've got in there. I think there's 1 or 2 plants coming up in there. And over here where this heat is a little bit cooler, can't really see anything here. And I'm not going to unwrap them, because what I'm going to do is, once these are up and pricked out, the ones that are now behind me will come over. They'll come over onto the more heat and move. But what we have got is we can space all these a bit better, push them all up to this furthest end, which is towards the light, the better light. Shut all these up, and I can get some more of these little trays in here. So now that I know that, I can go down to the allotments, and I'll be down there for a couple of hours, but I can spend half an hour, 20 minutes, whatever, just sowing a few more seeds, fetch them up, put them on this propagator, and they can then become part of the daily routine. So we'll do that. And I just wanted to show this daily routine that I have, where I come in and check for watering and get on with it. All the plants are looking nice and healthy and not died through the night, so brilliant. Now, we didn't have a frost here last night, but I think tonight we might get one. But today the wind, it's the wind that's bitterly cold. It says it's 3 degrees in a minute, but it feels like below 0, to be honest. It's actually really biting cold. But yesterday I came down and set up this big hot box, one of my hot boxes. I've got all my plants in there, and I'll show you that in a minute. And all my salad mixes are still up there, just fleeced over, and that's how I left them yesterday. They'll stay like that for a couple of days. Well, this weather's changing. We're going to be cold for 2 or 3 days, and then from sort of Monday onwards, next Monday, it's going to be warming up again through the night, so this chill will go. So once I've shown you these, we'll get on and sow the last of the flower seeds for the month of March, and get them on the space in the propagator that you saw at home earlier. And that just keeps things moving. And in a couple of days I'll take all these plants out and put them in the little polytunnel on the bench, the temporary bench that you saw also. So I'll just strip this down and you can have a look at all the plants in there, stuffed in there. So here we go then. This is actually a coriander that's now running to seed. I'll get this picked this week and we'll get that eaten. But here's all the plants absolutely stuffed into here. which is it's great because they're protected, and if we do get a frost, all these should be okay. And I know Fletchy was asking about my stocks, and these are them here now. They're about 1 inch tall. There's still a couple in each cell mostly in here, so once this cold weather's sorted and these plants are out, I'll pinch out the ones I don't want and just leave one in a cell, and they should grow away happily. So yeah, everything's okay in here. Over there, right centre of the frame now, is all those larkspur seedlings I potted on the other day, so they're all doing well. So yeah, everything looks fine and untouched, but I say we didn't get a frost, so safe. Still in the big tunnel, I thought I'd show you these. These are my brassicas, sowed 5 days ago, and you can see quite happily the majority of these are coming up. There's only this first row, and yeah, there's 1 or 2 signs in this first row as well. So they're all coming up, and none of these will be anywhere near 10 degrees. They'll be much less this soil temperature. As you can see though, all these brassicas are germinated and will grow on, saving me propagator space, saving me bench space, and utilising the soil that I've got free in the polytunnel. So I'm just going to sow a couple more seeds, a couple of seed labels in there just to divide it up. And these are all surface sown ones. And this first one is Nicotiana, and this is a great little plant, especially for cut flowers in a vase, because they tend to be you get quite long stems with the flowers on, and they can be up here, and I like those because it adds height, and they'll sort of hang over like this in a vase. So where you've got your main story of your plants around here, these will be up here, and just to add a bit of height and spread that display out a little bit more. And I think this variety is roulette mixed. I'll just check. Got the packet there. There you go. A nice little 5-petaled flowers. Beautiful they are. And yeah, they're sort of like a bit of a cone, but they're great flowers, and they're a mixed colours, and they're just great to adds spectacularness, if that's a word, to the vase of cut flowers. Next one is a little favourite of mine, tiny little flowers about this big. It's called Mexican Hat, and it's part of the coneflower family really. I'll just blast a few of those on there. Again, I only put 1 or 2 of these in the vase. It's just to add a little bit of interest and a bit of a change within them. And these are all the 3 of these are all surface sown seeds. So surface sow, water below. And this last one is Tithonia, and I believe another name for this is the Mexican sunflower. Now I'm surface sowing this, but I think the direction says cover with a fine layer of compost. So you're covering it, but then it says do not exclude light. What is that all about? How's that supposed to... I can understand put a little bit on the top, but cover with a fine layer of compost, but do not exclude light. So I'm not excluding light. I'm just going to put them into the compost, press them in, and treat them as a surface sown plant. So I won't water them now because they're going in the van and they're going home with me. So that's why I haven't watered the trays. And now we're on to the ones that do get covered in compost. And this first one is Status. Now these give a nice longish sort of flower, tiny little flowers on the stem. They sort of arch around like this, and again, great interest in the vase. But the wonderful thing about them is if you get them just as they're about to open, or they just have opened, and if you snip them off, form them into a bunch, tie them up and hang them upside down, they will dry brilliantly, and they'll keep that colour for winter displays. So you get twice for your money. And it's strange because you get a little crown of a plant that will spread rapidly to about this big, but there'll be nothing above ground much more than that. but then you get the spires coming up. So they look funny, they're like rosettes in the ground. But again, it's another one of those that I really love. So that will want covering in compost. And then I've got another 4 varieties here and 2 trays with labels. I'll put the labels in and just divide those trays up, and I'll sow these directly onto it and then cover them in compost. Now, the first one is Vanadium. Hope you can see that, but I'll write it on the screen anyway. This is a Cape Daisy, so we'll have a few of those. The next one is Beplerum. Again, I'll write it on the screen. This I use more as a foliage in a vase. I'll put a big sort of handful of those in the vase, and then I can spit and spot a few choice flowers amongst it. You've got to have that sort of stuff if you're putting stuff in the vase, stuff to fill the vase up, and then you can spit spot flowers in. So, and another one I really like to fulfill in a vase, and I have a love-hate relationship. I love it, but I hate growing it because sometimes it just does not grow for me, and I've no idea why. But this is Gypsophilia. In the trade they just call it gyp. But every year I try. Some years I'm really successful with it, and other years I just crash and burn. And I've never really worked out why. Probably because I've never taken the time to find out. Maybe I ought to. And this last one is a lovely one. This is a Salvia, and this is a nice red one. Again, the name and variety will be on the screen. There's not many seeds in this packet, so I think there's about 30 or 40. I'm going to sow all of them. And these will just be pricked out into module trays as and when they come. And we're heading for that sort of weather now that, you know, when these need pricking out, the temperatures are going to be warmer, so I can prick them out, fetch them down here, put them on a bench somewhere, and they'll do good. So all those will need covering in compost, the other ones not so. There we go, very quickly there, some more flowers sown. Just fill up the space in the propagator. So cold weather's coming to most of the UK tonight. If you need to, get your plants protected. Best place, middle of a polytunnel or middle of a greenhouse if you can. Keep it away from the edges, they'll get cold first. I'm using the hot box and this fleece, and I'll just leave the plants in there and water them daily if they need it, and I'll leave this fleece on for until this cold spell's gone. Next week it's warming up, so overnight, so we'll be away from this cold spell. So good luck with that cold spell, I hope. But that's it for today. Look after yourselves, everyone. Please stay safe, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Ta-ra now.